There's been a scandal in the state of Maine, and I use the scandal in terms of me not really caring. Other people seem to think that it is a scandal. As in, to me, you could consider pretty much 9 out of the 10 things that I do during the day a scandal. Just totally scandalous. I do terrible things. I say terrible things. You want to talk about obscene gestures? My life's full of them. I say things to people who never deserve it. My thoughts are even worse. If there were thought crimes in this country, I'd be going to jail in a second. But what this person do, which we consider bad, and I consider awesome. What is it? Sex. Is it consensual sex? Yeah, pretty much. Now, what makes this not okay than the regular sex that people have? Oh, money being involved. Because once money's involved, it's considered prostitution. And then once a camera gets involved, it's considered porno. So what you have to consider is that, sure, get money involved, but make sure there's a camera involved too. Because then it goes from okay to bad to okay again in the eyes of the legal system. Let me read some of this story about a prostitution. I don't know if they call it a ring. It seems a little bit ridiculous, but I'm not going to call it a ring. I'll call it a club. A prostitution club out of Kennebunk, Maine. Up there in Kennebunk. What do we got? Portland. A 29-year-old fitness instructor has pleaded not guilty on charges she ran a prostitution business out of her Kennebunk Zumba studio and secretly filmed her encounters. Now listen to how many charges. Ooh. Sounds like that laundry's good and dry. Okay, listen to this. 109 counts, including prostitution and tax evasion. I can't decide which is worse. Having sex for money or not giving that money to the government? Now, I wonder this. I wonder, is the government picky about where that tax money comes from? If you got your money from doing illegal things, activities, such as selling your vagina to a man, is that money not okay in the tax system? Because I'm assuming they'll take any money that they can get. And I'm assuming that they're probably way more upset about tax evasion than they are a prostitution ring. But at the same time, not only is she getting in trouble, you would think that maybe, okay, she's the leader of this big prostitution ring. She's a sex kingpin, if there is such a thing. We'll bring her down and we'll put an end to this. But no, it's not enough. It's not enough because they've got a list. And this has been what is the big topic of the debate, because there is a list. It's out there, and now people are talking about releasing it. On top of the fact that they're sending summons so we can make sure all 150 of these people on the list are in trouble, some of whom are well-known people. And you got to ask the question, is it really cool? Is it cool to ruin somebody's reputation because they wanted to get laid and they couldn't get laid the good old-fashioned way? By going to a bar, buying girls drinks, and, getting them tipsy enough so that they decide that you look pretty. No, they wanted to skip all that and just go to the part where they spend the money and then they get the sex. Which to me, I feel like that's being, I don't know, that's being time-consaving, you know? You've got a better schedule that way because you can get the sex over with and then you can go out and you've got hours to hang out with your friends because you're done having sex. Now go play billiards, you rich man. But if you do it the old-fashioned way, it's a real pain in the ass. I've never done it because it sucks. You gotta trick a girl into consensually having sex with you. It's too much work. You either have to be amazingly good looking or one of the best liars, or just have the lowest standards, which is cool too. But as far as I'm concerned, prostitution should be fine, especially if porn is fine. Now, one of the interesting facts about this story in particular is that this lady was secretly filming the sexual encounters, as they put them. Don't you just love how journalists... they use these words. It's like when someone says something bad, it's a remark, not a comment. When someone has regular sex, they have sex. But when it's illegal sex, it's an encounter. Now, I haven't been encountered recently, but I would think I would reserve that terminology for an alien visit. I was encountered by an alien. And yeah, maybe he probed my butt, but it was an encounter. We encountered a few problems because there was blockage. There's another correct use of the word. As far as prostitution goes, you paid for sex, you got laid, everybody was happy, you go home without, dealing with that boner, and you're good to go. Now, this is my question, because this is what makes the case interesting, the fact that she was filming these and the clients were not aware of that. I'm wondering, I think this should be the loophole that gets everybody out free. Now, obviously, you could argue that, the guys didn't know about it, so you could consider that fraud, which I can totally get behind. Yeah, they didn't know they were getting filmed. They got filmed. That's kind of a bad thing that you would do in a situation like that, to film someone and they didn't know about it. If they were told about it and they wanted to film it, that's cool. But, if it's done secretly, imagine if you were the guy, you're paying for sex. All of a sudden your video's on the internet and maybe you have a belly you're not too proud of. Maybe you don't want people to see, I don't know, maybe you don't want people to see what you've been doing with your spare time. Just a thought. Now, I think that should be a loophole, though. I think now that there's a camera involved, this should no longer be considered prostitution. I think we should consider it a porno. It should be just a completely legal practice. Everybody's not guilty. They were just all part of a porno filming experience. This is what the industry likes to call amateur porn. Okay? And there's a lot of it out there. It's totally legal. So I say leave them alone. As far as the list goes, sounds to me like it's a big pile of none of our business, and the media has a way of spinning it saying, well, if we weren't to unleash the list, we wouldn't, what kind of journalistic integrity would we be showing by not releasing this juicy list of important names of people who have paid for sex? Is that journalistic integrity? Or is that doing something because a lot of people are going to buy the paper that day? What do you think? Okay? Now, as far as going back to the fraud discussion goes, if you don't want there to be a situation like this to happen ever again, there's one thing that we have to do. Legalize prostitution. That's all you have to do. And all of a sudden, these little rings that you got, these cute little prostitution rings, they go away pretty quickly. They do. Here's the deal. Everything has a market. If there is a demand for something, there will be a market for it, whether it's legal or not. I don't care if we're talking about tits, guns, weed, anything. If there is a demand for it, there will be a market for it. But if you make it illegal, well, some dodgy people are going to start giving you that market. And that's when things happen where people, get filmed without their consent. That's where you go and you buy weed, you end up with oregano, or your coke has been cut, That's what happens when you deal with the black market. It's not always completely trustworthy. So I say, you want to stop the crime? Make it legal. It's only illegal. There's only crime because we make it a crime. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I agree it is a crime. For me to say it's not a crime would be disagreeing with reality. Do I think that it's wrong? No. Just because something's illegal doesn't make it bad. I think sex is awesome. I think paying for sex should be a thing that's totally okay. Hey, just because you're ugly doesn't mean that you don't get to get laid. Maybe you get a bunch of money and that's what you do. You pay for sex. That's how you get laid. Do you want to deny somebody sex? Their human, natural instinct? Do you want to deny them that? Yeah, let's just bottle up all of their sexual urges. And we'll wait. It'll be fine for a while. 5 years down the road, though, they're going to be tired of jerking off in front of a screen, and that's when they're going to go nuts on a school. That's when they're going to buy an AK-47 and start shooting, because all of that sexual tension that you didn't get to have released, well, now people are dead, so thanks for that. So I say, leave them alone. Let all these people go. We can deal with this on fraud, which I don't even know. Look, I don't even know if people are worried about that. And that's the one thing I'm starting to think is a problem. They're worried about the prostitution itself, and they're worried about tax evasion. God forbid that there's unreported revenue. If you're making money, the government needs to have its hands on it. Its dirty, filthy little hands. And if they don't, then we're going to have a problem. Oh, you're making money? Can we see some of it? Can we see some of it? Oh, you're not going to get it back. What are we going to do for you? We're going to use that money to fund cops that put you and all of your clients in jail. Does that seem like a fair deal? No? Okay, well, that's great, because the choice is not there for you to make, and give it to us now. Isn't that funny how that works? But no, it'll be journalistic integrity to release the name. I don't think we should even know the name of the person who had the prostitution ring, let alone all of the people on this, 150 people on the list that they're talking about releasing to the public. None of our business. None of our business who's having sex with who, who's paying for sex with who. Do I need to start updating my Facebook every time I jerk off? Oh, I just needed to let everybody know that I played with myself today. I had a sexual encounter with my left hand. I just wanted everybody to know that because, they're the juicy details. God forbid anybody has any privacy anymore. Just stop. Just stop. Let them have sex. I know it's a nice feeling, and I don't know why. It's a nice feeling to watch other people and their lives crumble. And I get it. I love watching people be destroyed, having their life just torn apart. It's always fun to watch. But you know what's more fun than that? You know what's more fun than watching somebody's life be destroyed and their family leaving them? Getting a fucking blowjob. For all that time that you're sitting there worried about what other people are doing in the backseat of cars with transsexuals, you could be getting a blowjob right now for one single easy payment of $50 in a back alley, and you could receive the best toothless blowjob of your life, and maybe, just maybe, you could realize, hey, you know what? This isn't so bad. Nobody's getting hurt. Yeah, her life is in shambles, but I'm fine. Nobody else got hurt. I say let it happen. And again, if you don't want to have to get a blowjob in a back alley or a backseat of a car, legalize prostitution. If you don't want to get herpes, legalize prostitution. I'm telling you. You don't go to a brothel in Las Vegas and worry about venereal disease. Because trust me, they're making sure that all those girls are clean. If they have an unwarranted zit on their vagina, they're not having sex that night. I promise you. You want to make it safe? Make it legal.